With this tactic, I qualified to the eFootball Open World Finals after finishing 3rd of Europe at the regional finals, where I had to face players using the 4-3-3 meta. So, do you want to beat the meta as well? Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more eFootball tactics, and for now, enjoy this video. Okay, we're starting off with 2 central defenders, 2 wingbacks, 1 DMF, 1 CMF, a winger left or right depending on which side you got the better player. We have an AMF on the other side and 2 central forwards. The playing style I've been using with this formation are possession game and quick counter. I use possession mostly with my strongest squad in Dream Team, relying on the individual playing styles to create the necessary runs. And when I play with lower rated players like this team I was using for the eFootball Open regional finals, I needed the quick counter playing style for the most effective runs. The manager I was using for the regionals was obviously standard Arteta, as we weren't allowed to use any booster managers. The advantage of Arteta is having a decent proficiency for both possession game and quick counter, so I'm able to make good use of the sub tactic and can switch between the 2 playing styles mid-game. Now we're gonna have a look at the type of players that are needed to make this tactic successful. Starting off with the goalkeeper, because of the offensive playing styles you will have a high defensive line leaving a gap between the defenders and goalkeeper. In this case I would go for an attacking goalkeeper that covers the space and will make the goal smaller when the opponent is going one-on-one. And again, with a high defensive line, you don't want to take the risk with defenders pulling out and leaving gaps behind them, so I wouldn't recommend playing with a destroyer unless your pressing game is really good. I would recommend build-up players purely for giving your surrounding players the passing options in the build-up. A neutral playing style is fine as well. For the wingbacks, most ideally you want to have a defensive fullback to have an extra player that stays at the back and an attacking fullback on the other side. The attacking fullback will fill up the space the AMF will be leaving and also overlapping on the flanks to give you an extra passing option in midfield. For the DMF position, I would recommend an anchorman, a player that drops down between the CBs, which is needed with this aggressive pressure of quick counter and possession game. An orchestrator will be my most ideal player on CMF position, a player that will offer himself in the spaces to create the attacks and dictate the game with passes. And if you need more support higher up the pitch, I will then go for a box-to-box or in-hole player. On the left or right midfield, you want a player that starts wide but runs inside to stay away from the opponent's fullback and giving support to the attacking midfield and central forwards for quick 1-2 combos. A hole player and roaming flag will do the work on this position. If your opponent is playing with 2 DMFs, I would go for a prolific winger to keep a passing option on the side. On the other side, you want a hole player on the AMF position. The reason I'm not using wingers on both sides is that I want variation in my game and stay unpredictable to my opponent. And besides that, a hole player will constantly make runs inside the box. For the 2 central forwards, I like to have variation as well. In my opinion, any playing style will work as long as you're not using the same playing style twice. In this setup, you can see I'm making use of a deep line forward with a neutral playing style next to him. Sometimes it's not possible to go for ground passes in a game, and then it's nice to have a target man or a tall fox in the box as option to bring in later in the game. I wouldn't recommend to use any advanced instructions in general, because it will only mess up the running behavior of your players and the dynamics in your team. Although if you play with a lower rated team like I did using the Arsenal squad at the regionals, I would use counter targets on my best attackers purely to save stamina the whole game and nothing else. So what makes this tactic successful against the 4-3 meta, or why do I call it the anti-meta? I personally think playing on the highest level, most of the top players are used to defending a 2CF 1SS system, are marking them very tightly and expecting you to directly pass the ball to your attackers. With the roaming flank or a hole player on the wings, you have an extra player that will offer himself in the center of the pitch, leaving the opponent's wingback with empty hands. With this move, you basically create a man-more situation along with the AMF against the opponent's DMF, and then you will have plenty of space and time to give that crucial through pass to one of your central forwards. Also, the attacking fullback is playing an important role, whereas in ball possession you play a fluid 3-5-2 formation by positioning himself higher up the pitch, giving you that extra passing option. On the defensive point of view, you have your players pressing high, and especially after losing ball position. With the 4-4-2 positioning, you are basically countering your opponent's 4-3 by defending them one-on-one, and if your pressing game is good, then this tactic will really suit you well. Okay guys, this is the end of the video. If you found it useful, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more eFootball content, and for now, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Peace out.